Good morning, 11:42 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, June 12th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. On June 12th of 2024, we have to ask ourselves a question. Why have so many retail investors all of a sudden become fearful of holding XRP? Leading into June, we had a decrease by a pretty significant amount. Now, in the last 10 days or so, when a lot of people decided that for whatever reason it was not the time, or it's the time to finally let go of their XRP holdings, there were 100,000 new people that found their way into XRP. Now, it's not any substantial, like, oh my God, there's this many being purchased, this many not. But there was a time period prior to that, before we got the analytics now starting, and most of this is going to be because of the drops in June. But there was a time when 40% of retail, edging towards the end of May and into early June, were letting go of XRP, while retail was gaining a 2% hedge, which means they increased their holdings by 2%. While retail cut bait by more than 40% of their holders, which is pretty ironic that so many people were just not just giving up on XRP as a whole in this part of the pattern or this part of its consolidation, but are just done with it forever. And now everything they thought they knew about XRP as far as it being a good project, about the adoption rate, about things that are being done with Ripple, with central bank digital currencies in different places, everything with the integrations, even buying different companies here lately, and the expansion into Japan. And there's just been so much that has been happening, and now all of a sudden it's become the time of fear. It's become the time of great doom. And I understand the national narrative has changed. I understand a lot of influencers that you might have watched in 2021 have cut and run that used to cover XRP, because, you know, that's a lot of times you'll see them covering something else. And I understand that. They want to continue to get the hot clicks. And you know what? Some people are searching for the hot topic. In 21, there was a lot of people doing searches on XRP. In 21, there was a lot of new faces coming into crypto. I just started as an influencer in March of 2021. The ironic part is in 2024, almost into 25 now, we're more than halfway through this year, if you can believe it, because I can't. It's just, we're going too quick. But now when we should have extreme optimism, we have the most, I want to say, uninspired and illogical fan base that I've seen from XRP in quite some time, ever. And it's not just that, it's dwindling, because a lot of people now, for some reason, when we have the great time of opportunity, I've been calling it the time of consolidation or the accumulation phase. But I'm going to switch that to, we're in the great time of opportunity. The great time of opportunity simply means here, we are not at $1.50. We are not at $2. We're not even at $3.25. We're not at $1.25. We're not even at 80 cents. Hell, we're not even at 60 cents. We're at 49.6 cents, and even on this last drop, such an opportunity to pick up more, as I've accumulated over 10,300 more XRP since we've been just dropping through the XRP Bitcoin pairing, and I could not be happier, because now I'm up over 22,000, and knowing there's only 280,000 total people that hold worldwide over 20,000 tokens is incredible to think. That's all that holds that many. So when we should be very, very, very happy about this time of opportunity, about these price levels, and you're never going to buy the exact bottom. So you have to pinpoint a spot where you start buying to the bottom. Fortunately, when we started buying back our first, well, for me, my first 12,000 in 2023, it was at 34.6 cents area. And now I've just been watching it up and down, left and right. And I had over 12,000, but I did unload someone who was at 90 and 80 and 70. But that has now been reinvested back in, and now I've got an additional 10,300 with more money on top of it, obviously. But I've been sticking to my plan. And I don't look at it as money lost or money gained at all right now. And I'm up from 34 cents. And then with what I've bought, it's up in totality a decent amount for the amount I've put in. But I don't look at that few $1,000s in profit as profit right now. I'm looking to build this into 2028, as I've said. And as long as it gives me the opportunity, and I've always said, especially under 50 cents, when you get 2 for $1 or more, that's when you have to consider accumulating more. And the more it goes, the more you can get, the farther down it goes. But you're never going to buy the exact bottom. So you have to find what's perfect for you, where it fits. And I'm not saying that it can't go sub 20 cents. There's a scenario, if we were to break bearish out of this 80-month, well, it'll be about 84 months by December of this year. Maybe a little bit more. It'll be about 86 months. But that's when this pattern consolidation ends. That's when everybody should be targeting for. Like, we know something significant is going to have to happen by this time frame. And I've got it charted out on this chart. But something significant is going to have to happen here. And this is what we need to pay attention to. And everything I just talked about, I can validate here just by showing you this chart. And right now, we came up to resistance all the way up, and on this chart it's 334, but it just depends on exchange. It can go up to $3.60. We came down and consolidated. It took all the way to March of 2020, which was a 27-month consolidation, when it came to about 10.7, 10.6 cents, depending on exchange. Then in the bear market rally, we came up to $1.98. On this exchange, $1.95 area. Then we came all the way back down. We bounced on support right here for a third time, or a fourth time even, but a third real time of consolidation after big bounces. Then we came up to resistance, which we called this exact move because even if bearish, we had to come to resistance. Now, you don't have to come back down and tap it every time. So it came so close here, but now it can swing around and retest this area, and we're getting very close to the apex point. So once we get to December of this year, we're in the apex zone. And now once you're in the apex zone, well, you know, you got to break up or down one way or the other. There's no other option here once you get to that point. So, you know, and I haven't cut my hair still. I promised everybody I wouldn't cut it since, if you're new, July of last year was the last time I cut my hair. And I said I wouldn't cut it till XRP hit at least $1. It was the first time I could reserve myself to cut my hair. Well, as we can see, it's been about 12 months. So my hair is pretty long. And I might decide to not cut it until it gets to all-time highs. So that's going to be a long time. So the point here is we're getting to some major areas where we're going to have to face it one way or the other. So you got to find a spot where this uptrend right now is held ever since 2020. And it's been the pattern formation as this resistance is held since 2018. Right now it's at about 63 cents. And the support is at about 40 cents. So right now the range of this pattern as it continues to build pressure is about 39.8 cents up to 63.3 cents. So you have a range right now. And this range has been condensing for a number of years. You have about a 55% range right now. So very volatile range. But it's pretty stable now within the range it's at until we have a massive break up or a break down. So there's only so much you can look at. So instead of focusing on this, because this goes out until December, I micromanage my chart. So I always look at the macro, always. And even further that, I have the next set of what could happen from a macro perspective if it were to break down and how much longer we could possibly run until. And that's how you get the worst case scenario. I mean, that's a bad scenario. The mid case scenario is down here to 27.9 in totality, but that would take you until May of 25 or June of 25. And then the worst case scenario would bring you all the way out until approximately December of that's only December of 25, January of 26. Wow, that worst case scenario, if that happens, and that would be kind of like a reset. Now understand, if you're in the accumulation and you can see what's happening, and let's just say it breaks this area, that would be your first opportunity to say, okay, well, you know what? I tried to do the accumulation in my opinion, it's failed. This is my area to say I'm going to cut it. And that's very speculative to even do that. I'm just saying, in this scenario, if everybody always asks me, where would you cut and try to buy it lower? If it did something like that and I could see an opportunity where I thought it was going to break a big area of consolidation that's happened for all times here since the all-time high, that to me would be the opportunity there to cut. And then you could get everything you hold for 35, you get 35% more. So instead of putting in 35% more on the way down, that's the kind of opportunity where instead of necessarily paying money, you might find an opportunity where you could just sell it. And in my case, I would still be up. Not everybody's going to still be up. So I would still be in the profit, and I could sell it and possibly, buy it 35% cheaper. Now that's a hypothetical, and it would obviously depend on what we're looking like. If everything's massively oversold, there's no way I would ever do that. But there are scenarios where you could get that benefit. We just don't know when and if. So you can sit over here if you want. Oh, is he? Is he okay? Oh, you did? Oh, okay. That makes sense. So there's a big opportunity here, one way or the other. And if you're looking at it from the macro, if it were to break that area, that's why I keep saying we have such an opportunity because how cheap we bought if you were to buy it when we did, and just adding some through the XRP Bitcoin pairing, it gives such an opportunity here. It really, really does. I'm going to be talking about another opportunity that's getting very, very close that I've been talking about for a long time with Pika Moon, but it had to get to a certain level, and right now it's down 80% from when I had that conversation with everybody, and it's not quite there yet. But the daily is exactly where I want to see it. But now we have to wait for the 4 hourly and up to catch up. And it's something I teach all the time. Once all these time frames catch up, look out. Because they always work into the area. So for me, the daily with XRP getting very close to where we want it. As it was approaching oversold. And if it does get rejected here, and let's just say it comes down here, it's going to be massively oversold. And I believe if you watch it come down to 39.9 cents, if it gets there and you do nothing, you're at least going to miss a short-term volatility spike. And at worst, worst case scenario, you would miss out on a life-changing opportunity there if it bounces down. Like, it's such an opportunity. There's so much opportunity here. It's almost painful to see how many people in my own audience that sit here and can't see what's in front of us. And how you could even build out of a position by just buying it when it was cheaper and letting this happen, and you can sell and buy and do all this stuff. But that 39.9 cents right there is everything. But we have a formation that we're set within. So like, I felt the need to come back on here this morning. And XRP has rebounded a little bit here, up about 3.5, 3.6% to the 497 level. It's a beautiful rebound. But I want everybody to realize right now, that's all it is right now, is a rebound. We still have a lot of room here. But as you'll find out, remember when we were massively oversold? And I said, okay, guys, even if bearish, we're going to have some kind of bounce here. Well, even if bullish, we're going to have some kind of bounce here at some point to back test some of these areas. It's come up to the areas of opportunity from yesterday. If you were in the live yesterday, these were the areas of opportunity. And I even gave you the number of area of opportunity, but I wouldn't buy anything until it came back down if you're a futures trader, that 474 area, 473. And it came to 4737 because that was the back test. And now it came all the way up through. Our first target was 488, second target 431. And you can just see that by the arrows. Obviously it took time to come through, so it's not on point. It's not meant to be. It's just meant to show you the two different resistance and support levels. And it came right through the 488. But the reason you would keep that there still is just in case there's a back test. And I was a little bit off because I measured it from a little bit below. Actually, you know what? It actually worked out because it did break, in the actual break point up was a little bit lower anyhow. So that actually worked out pretty good. So now we're looking to bounce to 4937 because that was the technical resistance on a breakout, which that actually worked out good for me by putting it under on accident. So now we have to see, can we back test 493? And right now, the higher we go, it would make sense to tap that 50-cent psychological level even, or even tap right up here. What if we come up to 50.07? Then it would be a perfect chance to come back down. And if you're shorting, which is very dangerous, even longing it, but that would be where someone might take the opportunity from, okay, well, you know, it's going to go from 50.07, and who knows how far over it's going to run, though. That's the problem. And I know it's got a back test. That's a 1.4% move. On a 10x trade, that's 14%. Now, understand the caveat is here, if it runs all the way up and wants to back test the cup and handle resistance, that's 3.84% from there. Now, that's not where I would speculate on. I would speculate if it wants to back test here first at that major level. But that's up to your interpretation of what you think would happen in that scenario. But we are ending up in a massively overbought now. Massively overbought. And there's been no volume to speak of that makes me jump off the roof. That says, oh my God, we got to buy. If we're in the short term and say, you know, from a leverage perspective, that you want to keep buying here in this exact moment. From a spot position, it's completely different. But I try to show you the micro movement so you can make a little bit of money throughout the day. I also always speak from the long-term perspective, though, when I talk about accumulation. But I'm never telling you to buy or sell. I'm not a financial advisor. I can only speak of opportunity. So, if you get anything out of this update, make sure you don't get tricked out of your XRP. There's so many people that have been tricked out. It's almost embarrassing how they're trying to portray things in the national media. Now, I did speak of 100,000 new people buying XRP in about the last 10 days. So, you know, there was a down period, but now that the new data is starting to come out with the last few weeks, it's looking like we've had quite the reverse. Well, not quite the reversal, but 100,000 new addresses, or 100,000 new holders, I think is important. So I want to read this, and then I'll release this because I think this is a very important update. And please share this on social media. It's so difficult right now as an influencer for XRP with all the negative connotations around it to find a new audience. I love my audience I have, but we must expand our audience. We must expand the members of Tom's Army so we can continue to build this program and sustain it long term and be able to sustain a long-term growth. Right now, it's a real struggle covering XRP because so many people think it's a scam now. And so many people think that it's never going to go anywhere. Now, in the month of June here, especially the last, I'm assuming more of this is on the dip as well, but it's managed to attract 100,000 new investors. So after a monster dip, and that's not increasing the holdings in retail because it's increased it some, but we had a major dip of about 40% in retail, which was tough to see going into June. And at least we've attracted new investors. And at that same time, while we were seeing such a subtraction in retail holders with their overall holdings, we had the wallets of the whales holding 1 million to 1 billion increasing by 2% leading into that same time period into early June. So it's good to see at least somewhat of a reversal here, that we're at least attracting new investors because we're desperate. We're desperate here in the XRP community, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're new, we're desperate. I'm desperate. I need you. We need you. So hit that subscribe button and join the over 22,100 subscribers. By some miracle, we've managed to get up to that level. Very stagnant in 2024, but at least we've managed to break that resistance at 22,000 and then a little bit more. Now we need to break the resistance for the XRP holders and try to attract more of you. So by hitting that like button, YouTube will recommend this update, and it is very important. It's very important to understand where we're at with the history of XRP and the adoption rate and the amounts of other countries that central banks, like Georgia recently, the Central Bank of Georgia, working with Ripple to help digitize their economy with this new central bank digital currency. It's not being talked about a lot in the USA, but it's happening everywhere. Everywhere. Nobody's talking about the fact that 85% of Japan is now run. You can use XRP, and it's mainly used in about 85% of the corridor now in Japan. A lot of people in my audience from Japan that will absolutely back me up on that statement. There's a lot of other places that are growing exponentially, and to buy XRP at a 49 cent area or buy it down to 39 cents and see what happens at 39.9. I mean, I don't understand what's going on here right now. I don't understand what's going on. Well, I do, because in 21 we talked about the difficult part would be so many people would be interested, but by the time it was necessary to actually be there in 24, most people would just cut and run. And unfortunately, that's what's happened. So for the ones who have stuck around, for the new ones who are coming into the space, I welcome you wholeheartedly. Another thing we have to do is break through the resistance of members of Tom's Army. I would love to see new members of Tom's Army with the XRP emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. XRP's up about 4% today. If you've gotten anything out of what I do, maybe today would be the day you decide to join Tom's Army for $9.99. I'm not begging, but I am. I would love to see more members help push the word. I would love to see new subscribers, and I would love to see new faces within the comments. So Crypto XRP attracts 100,000 new investors in June, ready for the explosion. So recently, the XRP ecosystem has experienced remarkable growth with the arrival of 100,000 new investors. Despite this influx, Ripple's crypto price remained stable. So the first 10 days of June saw an impressive increase in the number of XRP holders, with 100,000 new investors joining the ecosystem. However, the price of XRP does not yet reflect this increased adoption, fluctuating within a narrow range between 48 and 52 cents. Analysts are closely monitoring various metrics to assess the potential impact of this growing base of holders on XRP price dynamics. The mean dollar invested age MDIA, which measures the average holding duration, is a key indicator. According to a data from June 1st, the 90-day MDIA stood at 1812, indicating investors prefer to hold onto their assets. Now approaching 2,000, this increase in MDIA reflects a growing trend, long-term investment amongst holders, potentially propelling the price of XRP to 55 cents, which means we're starting to push out the weak hand. So all those that had sold previously, now we're starting to see the metric change here, especially as of late. As of late here in the last 10 days in particular. The circulation rate, which measures, look how big of a drop we had. That was a huge drop here with XRP's price. And I mean not like off the roof, but there was a big drop. So, and there could be more if this plays out bearish. So I would like to see the the amount of people continue to purchase. The circulation rate, which measures the number of tokens exchanged over a given period, is another important metric. This rate recently fell to 228.53 million tokens per day for XRP, indicating reduced sell pressure in a more stable price environment. However, a future increase in this rate could signal a resumption of sales and impact price dynamics. Ripple spares no effort in continuously expanding its network of partnerships with financial institutions around the world. The recent XRPL Japan and Korea Fund initiative is a perfect illustration of the company's aim to accelerate its penetration into the Asian market, one of the most populous regions on the planet. Building on a strong network of alliances already established with major banks in India, Canada, the UK, Brazil, and many other countries, Ripple is positioning itself as an essential provider of blockchain solutions for traditional financial institutions on a global scale. Ask yourself a question if you're still here. And if you are here, hashtag be better, do better in the comments. Why are you not interested in buying XRP if you haven't purchased? Is it because you don't know how? Some of you might not know how. Look in the video description below and or pinned comments. There's BITUNIX, which you don't need a VPN. It's the lowest spot and leverage trading fees in the USA. And you can buy XRP at your disposal, even worldwide. You don't even need a KYC unless you send or receive from a bank account funds. So there's no excuses, and it has the lowest spot trading fees in the country. So we have opportunity. And if you're around the world and you're like, well, I'd rather use a different one, well, there's MEXC as well, and that's in the video description below and or pinned comments. They don't require well, you do have to do a KYC though. That's the difference. And your VPN, you might have to use there as well, especially in the USA, if you're not already signed up. So take advantage of this moment. In 21, when I came on, I told no lies. Right now, it's like I feel like I can't stay quiet. It's like I can no longer stay quiet again. Like I can no longer stay quiet in this time of opportunity. I can no longer stay quiet, and I won't stay quiet in this time of opportunity. And if we fall on the sword, I'll be the first one to hit it. But I firmly believe that when they're doing things behind the scenes that are not really being covered, you don't see them talking on the mainstream saying, Ripple has this many partnerships with banks, or this many different regions are going to be digitized, and they're going to have some kind of digital way of sending money, and that XRP is the perfect way of doing it. And it's already been in connection. It's already there. All you have to do is read between the lines and look at the partnerships and the different adoptions and the different partnership, not just the alliances, but also the rate that they're now acquiring different companies. They brought on a CEO yesterday of a company, and he's still going to run the same position. And I talked about it yesterday. And he's going to run now. He's going to oversee part of the expansion, which will have to do with the digitization of the RWAs on the XP ledger. This is happening quick. This is happening by the end of 24 now. I'm not saying the price is going to appreciate by then, because 25 is the big opportunity. By 28, all of our dreams will be, it'll be realized what you were waiting for. But there's going to be a big move in between there. 24 is the bear market rally. That's what we've been in. Until you break out of it, it's still a bear market rally. So let's continue here, and then I'm going to release this. This is very long. I wasn't expecting me to go this long. So, building on strong network of alliances already established with major banks in India, Canada, the UK, Brazil, and many other countries, Ripple is positioning itself as an essential provider of blockchain solutions for traditional financial institutions on a global scale. The crypto company is also preparing for the upcoming launch of stablecoin pegged to the US dollar, further strengthening its position in the digital asset market. Ripple is resolutely moving in this direction despite the persistent regulatory challenges it faces, particularly with the SEC in the United States. These obstacles do not seem to hinder its determination to revolutionize the financial sector through blockchain technology. So, I mean, just take advantage here, ladies and gentlemen. Take advantage. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and consider joining Tom's Army, paying it forward. And if you just want to send a YouTube super chat for the work I put in, or just because I've helped you make money, consider that one time per month, just to help pay it forward. I really appreciate each and every one of you, because without you, I'd be nothing, and I wouldn't even be able to get the word out. And other than that, hashtag be better, do better in the comments. And remember, help one person each and every day, because if I don't do my part and you don't do your part, you can already see how this world is turning very much downhill. It's our opportunity here to help somebody through positivity over negativity, through hopefulness or helpfulness over hurtfulness. So have a blessed day, everybody, and it's been an honor and a privilege.